Maldives Calling.
The manta rays are an incredibly important animal. We're seeing a lot of baby mantas in the lagoon. This lagoon is a beautiful, beautiful place to see coral.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Dear. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm also great and I'm so happy to meet you. I would like to ask you a few questions about manta, marine life in the Maldives, and of course about this amazing lagoon you have here close to InterContinental Maldives. And first I would like to ask you, what is Manta Trust and what are you doing here in the Maldives?
Thank you. Very good question. So the Manta Trust is one of the largest organizations in the world working to protect manta rays, their cousins, and their associated habitats. We're actually a charity registered in the US, in the UK, and also in the Maldives. And we've got projects all over the world specializing in protecting manta rays. So manta rays are an incredibly important animal, but they are unfortunately endangered. So our work is to find what's causing that endangerment and to find ways to protect them.
I wonder why Manta Trust choose InterContinental Maldives as a research base.
Yes. So the InterContinental is actually surrounded by a lagoon called Maamunagau, and Maamunagau is the first documented manta nursery site that we know of in all of the Maldives. And this is incredibly special because what that means is that we're seeing a lot of baby mantas in the lagoon, and we don't normally see baby mantas commonly or often in the Maldives. And this is one of the sites where every year during the northeast monsoon season, which is December to April, we see a lot of juvenile mantas in the lagoon, which means that this site is being used as a nursery site for babies.
Great. So what personally you doing here? What is your working day here?
So it changes a lot based on the time of the year. So for example, in our peak research season, which is the northeast monsoon season, which runs from December to March, April, we've got quite a lot of manta activity right in Maamunagau. So we spend a lot of time out on the water 6 days a week from morning till sunset studying these animals. There's a lot of movement of the animals in the water, so we're in the water trying to get IDs of the animals to track the population, document how many new individuals there are, how many pregnant individuals there are, just to understand the dynamics of this population over here.
Great. And how do you recognize your mantas?
Very good question. So much like human beings have distinct fingerprints, everyone's got a completely unique one. Manta rays actually have a completely unique marking on their belly. So if you're ever lucky enough to see the belly of a manta, they have these beautiful spot patterns between their gills, and they're completely unique to each manta. So once you go down and take a picture of the manta from the bottom, you're essentially looking at a completely unique individual.
Very interesting. You know, when I was here, February 2023, I went for snorkeling. And we were lucky to see maybe 4 or 5 mantas.
Oh, incredible.
And your colleague said one of them was pregnant mantas. I never seen before. And it was amazing because I actually swim alone with all these beautiful mantas. I found in your office this device.
Yes. So this is actually what we call a hobo temperature logger. And this is a device that we can actually deploy in the ocean, particularly at coral reef sites, where we can gauge what the variation in temperature at a site is. And as the Maldives is a coralline nation, it's built by coral reefs, it's very important to understand the dynamics of how these ecosystems are changing over time. And another thing that's super important is that mantas, like many marine animals, use coral reefs for a variety of different things. So for example, mantas, if you don't see them in the water feeding, they're most often cleaning. And that cleaning behavior takes part at coral reef sites. So this device allows us to track how the temperature is changing in the water and how that might impact ecosystems like coral reefs that are super sensitive to temperature changes. This device we deployed in, I believe, April, and I just collected it on Saturday, so close to the 3rd week of June.
Yeah. So you're going to check now how it works. But generally, during the year, what is the range of temperature in the Maldives?
Very good question. So in the Maldives, we've got the temperature of the water is quite warm. It's typically around 28, 29 degrees Celsius. But we do go through a period of the year around, it starts in March toward the end of March, April, May, where the temperatures of the water are very, very hot. And this is very concerning for coral reef ecosystems because coral is an animal that is very sensitive to temperature. And it can only survive in a very narrow range of temperature. So if the temperature raises even a little bit above that range, the coral will become stressed, and then we experience what we know as coral bleaching. So you might see vast coral reef ecosystems all of a sudden very ghostly and white, and this can have horrible knock-on effects for the ecosystem and all the species that rely on coral reefs.
I can see how you're passionate about ocean, about corals and mantas. And I'm sure for our partners will be interesting to know how healthy house reef around InterContinental.
So InterContinental is actually very special because we've got one of the largest lagoons in the Maldives. So for example, from the island to the absolute tip of the lagoon, it's about 7.8 kilometers, so almost 8 kilometers long. And what's really interesting about InterContinental is not only does it have a beautiful barrier reef, but it also has really beautiful, rich coral reef patches inside the lagoon. And they're reef patches that a lot of people don't visit, they don't know a lot about. And when you go to them, it almost feels like you're an explorer. So for guests who are interested in seeing coral, this lagoon is a beautiful, beautiful place to see coral.
How we as a tourist can support a Manta Trust, donation we can do, or how actually it works if we want to help to protect manta population or any other purpose we can do.
Incredible.
For you.
Incredible. So as I mentioned, Manta Trust is a charity, so all of the work that we do runs on donations. And for any guests who come to the Maldives who are interested in the work that we do and want to give back, there's numerous ways that they can do so. One of my personal favorites is to adopt a manta. So for a small fee, guests are able to adopt mantas that we know of, that we've seen of, and give them a unique name. And that individual, so mantas they're quite long-lived. So they can live up to 40 to 60 years of age. And you have the potential of maybe getting updates on that individual, which is a very personalized way of staying in touch with the work that we do. Or you could also purchase some merchandise, come and talk to us and learn more about what we do. There's numerous ways to get involved in the research.
For example, if I even want to donate being abroad, you have a website where it's possible to do it, even remotely. So I'm already tell my daughter that I'm going to bring for her toy manta, and she said, okay, very happy. Oh, beautiful. So she actually don't want a toy, but when she heard that it will help, she said yes. Thank you so much.
Likewise. And next time I'll see you in the water.
Yes, for sure.